polite. She's never loud and doesn't fight. She speaks so soft that you can barely hear her. Her chastity is intact and pure. But all these titles drive her mad. She has so much to say. She wants it all so bad. She wants to run.
Hey sweeties, welcome back to Queer Cosplayers Family Kitchen. It is so good to be back after Ludington Pride. We had so much fun setting up there and got to talk to so many people. If you've never been, while I have yet to ever be to a what I would call a bad Pride, Ludington is always going to be one of my favorites because it is just so nice and intimate and low-key that everyone is just there having fun and sharing everything. So we are still getting back to business immediately by continuing with Critical Hit Month and Flavors of the Multiverse. And this week we are actually going to be doing two separate videos. One today and then another on Thursday when I shoot my next video. But today we are going to be making some Chirper's Sugar Biscuits. Now this is a dish that uses puff pastry that honestly I'm a little intrigued how this is going to end up looking. So without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, sweetie, so we've got a medium-sized mixing bowl here, and inside I have put 2 tablespoons of sugar. So now we are going to add 1 tablespoon of, there we go, of lemon zest. Now, generally it's better to use fresh, but I like to keep lemon zest kind of in bulk, just because a lot of the recipes I use involve that. So we are just going to mix this together until the sugar is nice and fragrant. Alright, sweeties, we've got it nice and blended so it's smelling fragrant. So next we are going to add about 3 tablespoons of packed light brown sugar. And again, when something says packed, you just kind of want to press it down so it's very tightly compact. There's 1, 2, and 3. Seal this back up. Alright, next we are going to be adding 3/4 of a tablespoon of cinnamon. Got a 1/4 tablespoon here. 2, 3. Seal that back up. Then we're going to do a 1/4 of a teaspoon of cardamom. Oh, I always love the way cardamom smells. Alright. Then we are also, I forgot to mention, just going to put in a pinch of salt here. There we go. Now, just give it a stir until everything is nicely combined. Alright, sweetie, so I've got my workstation all prepped to work with our pastry that we're going to have for this dish. So what I did was I put out a very large cutting board and then just wrapped some parchment paper around it. But in order to be fully prepared, we're going to need to take 2 tablespoons of sugar and then sprinkle it evenly over the parchment paper like so. There's 1 and 2. All right, we've got our sugar surface completely coated. Now we need to open our puff pastry. So we're going to take just a single sheet of puff pastry for this. Now these have been thawing in the refrigerator for several days. And I've had them out of the fridge for about, maybe an hour or so. Alright, so these should be nice and soft and pliable. There we go. So we are just going to unroll this and spread it out over the sugar surface. Takes a little bit just to get it separated like this, so you always want to be careful not to rip your puff pastry when you're trying to unroll it. There we go. Alright, so gonna lay it down like so. Remove the wax paper here, and then flip it over. Now, we are gonna want this to be about 15 inches long, and it's clearly not that. So what we are going to do is lay another sheet of wax paper over top of it. Then using a rolling pin, we're going to roll it out again until it's about 15 inches long. Alright, sweeties, so we've got this about 15 inches across, give or take half an inch or so. So next, what we are going to want to do is take, I believe it is 2 tablespoons of room temperature butter. So again, I'm going to estimate it to be right about that. Then what we are going to do is spread it all over the puff pastry like so. I'm going to get this nice and smooth. So again, we want this to go pretty much right up to the edge. Alright, butter is nice and spread, so now we are going to take a generous helping of our sugar mixture and sprinkle it all over the puff pastry. Now once again, you're going to want to do this pretty much right up to the edge. Alright, sweeties, we've got it exactly the way we want it. So we're going to slowly peel one edge up, and we're going to want to roll this up into kind of a log shape. Like so. You want to take this very slowly, just to make sure you don't rip your puff pastry, because especially after we've rolled it out, it can be very delicate the thinner it gets. So again, we take it nice and slow. Alright, sweeties, it is all set. One thing that I neglected to mention before is once you roll it up, you're kind of going to want to pinch it closed like so. But now we are going to take some plastic wrap. We are going to wrap this up like so. Actually, might be better to do it this way. You're going to wrap this up and then stick it in the fridge. You're going to want to get this nice and chilled. And then once we get it wrapped up, you're going to stick it in the fridge for about 45 minutes. Alright, sweeties, well this just came out of the fridge, and it's looking pretty good. So, the book recommends using a serrated knife. We are going to want to kind of saw this in half, like so. There we go. Oh yeah, that's got a very good solid texture to it. So each of these halves we are going to want to cut into six individual pieces, and then getting a muffin tin, we are going to want to prepare it with non-stick cooking spray like so. Ugh. Not the most pleasant aroma in the world, but we are going to spray it with non-stick cooking spray, and then, like I said, cut it into cut each half into 6 individual pieces and plop them in there. So I've also got Wanda preheated to 400 degrees, and once these are done, we are going to put them into Wanda for about 20 minutes. Sweeties, as you can see, I am wearing a different shirt. That is because this is actually my second time attempting this. The first time we left the biscuits in a little too long and the sugar burned. So this time we reduced it by about 2 or 3 minutes. And what I am doing now is spreading butter all over these rolls, like so. Then, once these have been spread, what we're going to be doing is taking some of that sugar mixture that we had and sprinkling it on top like so. Sweeties, these turned out so much better than the last time. I still managed to mess a little something up when I put them in the muffin tin this time. I forgot to grease them, grease the muffin tin, so they were a little harder to get out this time around, but honestly the coloration and the texture is just about perfect. So now the only thing left Oh, these are worlds better, sweeties, and you can really taste the lemon in this. It is delicious. So thank you so much for tuning in. And this is another prime example, just like last month. Whenever you mess up, pick yourself back up and try again next time. The worst thing you can do is to give up. So, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Bye, sweeties.
A maiden's never rude and always kind and nice and polite. She's never loud and doesn't fight. She speaks so soft that you can barely hear her. Her chest is intact and pure. But all these titles drive her mad. She has so much to say. She wants it all so bad. She wants to run away. Who are you? Who do you want to be? What do you want? What do you need? Let's be wild. Let's rips her dress off and sets it on fire. She screams as loud as she desires. She goes running barefoot naked in the woods, not even caring if she should. She is wild and vicious, naturally capricious, sexually